Newcastle United could make move for 24-year-old Sunderland target this summer as they look to replace Callum Wilson. Sunderland have been very busy in the summer transfer window in an attempt to bolster their squad for the inevitable relegation battle ahead. Meanwhile, Newcastle United have hit roadblock after roadblock in their attempts to add strength and depth to their squad. Now, a report from Africa Foot has suggested the two Northeast clubs could be about to go up against each other in the transfer market for £22 million rated forward Evann Guessand from OGC Nice. The 24-year-old Ivory Coast international can play all across the front three, possessing the kind of versatility that Eddie Howe is looking for as he looks to add support for Alexander Isak in the wake of Callum Wilson's departure. Sunderland have also been keeping an eye on Guessand as they look to build an entire team of African players. Seriously, what are they going to do when the African Cup of Nations starts in January? Evann Guessand could be available for around £22 million. Guessand hit 13 goals and 10 assists for Nice last season from 42 outings for the French side. Those aren't exactly prolific numbers, but the fact that he would be available for around £22 million and is keen on a move to the Premier League definitely puts him in the realistic category for Newcastle after missing out on so many bigger names so far. Eddie Howe could likely bring him up another level were he to arrive at St James's Park. We can't see Newcastle pushing for Evann Guessand. Ultimately, though, we're taking this one with a huge pinch of salt. There's not a lot about this one that adds up for us. While we are clearly still hunting for a new forward, and a versatile forward seems to be on the agenda, we still have some big targets in mind before we turn our attention to players in the same supermarket aisles as Sunderland. A report earlier today from Martin Hardy for The Times stated that Newcastle United were eager to offer Tino Livramento a lucrative contract extension to end speculation surrounding his future. Based on Hardy's report, it seemed that Manchester City would have their answer quickly as to whether or not they had any chance of signing the versatile fullback this summer. A new report indicates that the answer has arrived very quickly. Manchester City will not pursue a move for Livramento this summer as per a new report from Tyrone Marshall for Manchester Evening News. City's search for a right-back will continue based on Marshall's report. Manchester City will not pursue a move for Tino Livramento this summer. Tyrone Marshall reports that Manchester City will not pursue a move for Tino Livramento this summer. Furthermore, Marshall reports that Manchester City had briefly looked at Livramento as a potential successor to Kyle Walker. But they haven't submitted a bid to Newcastle to sign their star fullback. Instead, City are poised to look elsewhere to fill the right-back position. Lastly, Marshall reports that Manchester City's current focus is on which players will leave the club rather than new signings for now. If Manchester City do move for a right-back this summer, who could they target? Manchester City's hopes of signing Tino Livramento appear over. As per Marshall's report, City have no plans to submit a bid for Newcastle's fullback. While Marshall reports that City are currently focused on which players will leave the club, it does seem that Pep Guardiola's squad needs a right-back. With Livramento off the table, it remains to be seen who City may target instead. Fabrice Hawkins reports that Manchester City do have an interest in signing versatile defender Jules Koundé from Barcelona. Furthermore, Hawkins reports that Barcelona are hoping to extend Koundé's contract with the club. Hawkins adds that City have inquired about Koundé's situation. But the French international is highly valued by Barcelona. Hawkins adds that a positive outcome on Koundé's contract negotiations with Barcelona is hoped for by all parties. With Tino Livramento out of the equation, a player like Jules Koundé would fill the gap for Manchester City at right back. But that move appears to be unlikely. There is nothing to suggest that Koundé is available this summer. It is expected that the Frenchman will renew his contract with Barcelona. So Manchester City's search for a right back is likely to continue. Perhaps Manchester City won't sign a right back at all this summer. They may enter next season with Rico Lewis and Matheus Nunes sharing duties in the role. But if they are to sign a right back, it will not be Tino Livramento, as Tyrone Marshall reports. Jules Koundé is of interest to City, as Fabrice Hawkins reports. But that move also appears unlikely. So who City could target remains to be seen if they do move for a right back at all this summer.